If your Ram is still riding on whatever Goodyear or Firestone it rolled off the lot with, you need to hear this. I have pulled factory tires off Ram trucks in my shop with less than 20,000 miles on them, and some of them were borderline dangerous. But I also found 7 that will actually survive on a truck this heavy. Worst number 1, the Goodyear Wrangler SRA. This was the factory tire on Ram 1500s from roughly 2009 through 2020, on Tradesman, Bighorn, Laramie, and even the Limited in some years. This is the part the dealer leaves out of the sales pitch. This is a P-rated tire. The P stands for passenger. Ram took a passenger car tire and bolted it onto a truck that weighs 5,400 pounds. Think about that for a second. I have had Ram owners come into my shop with sidewall bubbles at 6,000 miles on these tires. I pulled a set off a 2014 Ram Sport where both fronts had blown out at 10,300 miles. The owner went to the feds and said flat out that the tires on his truck were designed for passenger cars, not trucks. He is right, and Goodyear knew it. The towing stories are even worse. I talked to a guy running a 6,000-pound travel trailer behind his 1500. His Wrangler SRA tires were finished at 19,000 miles, and 7,000 of those were towing miles. Goodyear blamed compression damage and offered partial credit toward another set of the same tire. That is like a restaurant giving you a coupon after the food poisoned you. The tire carries a 50,000-mile warranty, but I have never personally seen a set make it past 35,000 on a Ram. Now this next one is going to hit the diesel guys hard because this is the tire sitting on almost every Cummins-powered Ram on the road right now. Worst number 2, the Firestone Transforce AT. This has been the factory tire on Ram 2500 and 3500 for roughly 10 years. The nickname on every Cummins diesel forum is Trash Force. That tells you everything. I worked on a 2018 Ram 2500 last year, where the owner was pulling a 14,000-pound fifth wheel. His Transforce tires were done at 19,000 miles. The outer shoulders wore off a cliff so fast I could see the wear bars from across the shop bay. Another owner brought in a 2024 Ram 2500 that could not pull itself off a damp clay road without locking it into four-wheel drive. That is how bad the wet traction collapses after 15,000 miles. But because the Transforce ships as an LT-rated tire, Firestone offers no warranty on mileage. They owe you nothing when these tires die at 20,000 miles. And then, this past May, federal safety regulators recalled over 12,000 Ram 2500s because the Transforce tires could not handle the truck's own top speed. The tires overheat, wear faster, and can blow out. The company that builds the truck admitted the tires they chose do not match the vehicle. That is the worst thing I have ever heard a truck maker admit about their own tires. This next one is going to surprise people because Goodyear actually tried to fix the SRA problem. They just created a different problem instead. Worst number 3, the Goodyear Wrangler Fortitude HT. This replaced the SRA on 2019 and newer Ram 1500 Tradesman and Bighorn trims. It has a higher treadwear rating, a 65,000-mile warranty, and grade A wet traction. Sounds like they fixed everything. But on actual roads, it might be worse than the tire it replaced. A 2019 Ram 1500 owner with a 5.7 Hemi called me because his truck was fishtailing on wet roads at normal driving speed. His truck had 5,600 miles on it. The factory Fortitude HT tires could not grip a damp road under a 400 foot-pound Hemi. Another customer showed up with tread cracking so severe at 19,000 miles that the truck could not pass state inspection. And this was on a tire with a 65,000-mile warranty. And when that second owner called Goodyear to use the warranty, he got transferred to a third-party service, then to a phone number that was disconnected. If your tire company hangs up on you when you try to use the warranty, That tells you everything about how much they actually stand behind that tire. Now, before I get into the 7 tires that actually work, I need to cover something that applies to every Ram regardless of what rubber you run. These trucks are heavy. A 1500 crew cab weighs 5,400 pounds empty. A 2500 with the Cummins puts close to 4,900 pounds on the front axle alone, because that diesel adds roughly 800 pounds forward of the firewall. That is why every Cummins truck chews through front tires about 25% faster than the rears. If you are not rotating every 5,000 miles and keeping pressure where the door sticker says, "No tire on this list will save you," and if you tow over 6,000 pounds regularly, switch from P-rated to LT-rated tires. The load capacity jump is nearly 30%. I had a customer get pulled over by a state trooper for drifting across the lane while towing his boat on P-rated tires. He switched to LT construction, and the wandering stopped overnight. Alright, those are the 3 to stay away from. Now let me tell you what to actually put on your Ram. Best number 1, the Michelin Defender LTX MS2. Go to any Ram forum and search for tire recommendations. This is the answer that comes back in every single thread, and the real-world numbers support it. A Ram 1500 owner ran his set to 53,000 miles and immediately bought the exact same tire again, a 2017 Ram 2500. Pulling a fifth-wheel camper every month, logged 58,000 miles with tread still looking solid. I even came across a fleet manager running Ford Super Duty trucks who hit 87,000 miles on a set and said he was putting Defenders on every truck in the fleet. The warranty is 70,000 miles on the standard version and 50,000 on the LT-rated version. Michelin runs an $80 rebate through Costco a few times a year, and stacking that with the Costco Visa card saves you over $100 on a set of 4. A full set installed through Costco lands between $1,100 and $1,300, with lifetime rotation and road hazard included. But what if there is a tire that actually stops shorter in the rain than the Michelin? Best number 2, the Continental Terrain Contact HT. Consumer Reports named this the #1 truck tire for both 2025 and 2026. The reason comes down to wet braking. When they tested these head-to-head, the Continental stopped 11 feet shorter than the Michelin Defender from 50 miles per hour on a wet surface. 11 feet is a full vehicle length of stopping distance. On a truck weighing over 5,000 pounds, that gap is the difference between a close call and a crash. It also scored a perfect noise rating, which matters if you spend serious highway time. The warranty is 70,000 miles standard and 60,000 miles on the LT-rated version, and Continental includes road hazard coverage built into the price. A set of 4 runs about $950 to $1,000 through Discount Tire. I personally think this is the better pick over the Michelin if you drive in rain or wet conditions regularly. Fight me in the comments about it. Now, what if I told you there is a tire with almost the same performance scores for $50 to $80 less per tire? Best number 3, the General Grabber HTS 60. Continental owns General Tire, so this is basically the terrain contact wearing different clothes at a lower price. Consumer Reports said this is the one to buy if you want to save money, with nearly identical scores to the Continental. The warranty is 65,000 miles. At roughly $180 per tire, spread across 65,000 miles, the cost works out to 17% less per mile than the Michelin Defender, with no real sacrifice in performance. I put a set of these on a customer's 2020 Ram Bighorn last fall, and he texted me at 30,000 miles asking why nobody ever told him about this tire. Because Michelin has better marketing, that is the only reason. A full set through Walmart Auto Care runs between $700 and $900 installed. For a Ram 1500 daily driver where the budget matters, this is the tire I bring up before anything else. If you are getting something out of this, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I put out Ram maintenance content every week that saves real money on these trucks. Now, everything I have recommended so far is built for the highway. But what about the Ram owner who also needs to handle gravel and snow? Best number 4, the Falken Wildpeak, a T3W. This is the all-terrain tire I recommend over BFGoodrich KO2 for most Ram 1500 owners. I know that statement alone is going to start a fight in the comments, but the numbers back me up. The Falken carries a 55,000-mile warranty versus 50,000 for the KO2. It costs about $60 less per tire, and it holds the severe snow certification in every size. That means it was tested and passed in real winter conditions, not just branded with a winter marketing label. A Ram 1500 owner on the diesel form ran his set past 62,000 miles. A Power Wagon long-term review hit 25,000 after one rotation, and still had plenty of tread left for another 20,000. The fuel economy penalty is about 1 mile per gallon, which is standard for any all-terrain. I do need to warn you, if your Ram Rebel came with Wildpeak tires from the factory, those use a different compound with a lower treadwear rating than the aftermarket version. If you want the real AT3W, buy it yourself. Now, this next tire is one I have mixed feelings about on Ram trucks, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Best number 5, the BFGoodrich All-Terrain T KO2. This has been the go-to all-terrain for truck guys for decades, and the new KO3 just launched with claims of 15% better tread life. But I need to give Ram 2,500 and 3,500 owners a warning that nobody else is talking about. The KO2 and KO3 run aggressive outside shoulder lugs with a soft sidewall. On the solid front axle Ram 2,500 and 3,500, that combination can set off death wobble. I have seen it in my shop. An owner puts on a fresh set of BFGoodrich all-terrains, hits one bump at 55 miles per hour on the highway, and the steering wheel shakes hard enough to rip it out of his hands. On a Ram 1500 with independent front suspension, the KO2 is fantastic. On the heavy-duty solid axle trucks, pick a different tread pattern. This next tire comes from a company you have probably never heard of, and I think it might be the best deal in the truck tire market right now. Best number 6, the Vredestein Pinza AT. Vredestein is a Dutch tire company that has been around since 1909. They build factory tires for Bentley and Aston Martin in Europe, but almost nobody in North America knows they exist. Their Pinza 8 all-terrain won tire racks on-road all-terrain comparison test. It ranked first out of 10 tires when they lined them all up against each other. And in wet braking, it stopped 25 feet shorter than the BFGoodrich KO2. The price is what makes this tire a problem for the bigger brands. In LT-rated load range E for a Ram 2500, the Vredestein costs $80 to $120 less per tire than the Michelin Defender or the BFGoodrich KO3. It carries a 50,000-mile warranty and the severe snow certification. A Ram 1500 owner towing a camper through the New Hampshire mountains said the road noise was non-existent and they handled gravel logging roads without drama. You buy them mostly through Tire Rack. If they make your size, this is the tire I wish more Ram owners knew about. Now, this next recommendation is for a specific group of owners, but if you are in that group, nothing else on the market comes close. Best number 7, the Nokian Hakkapeliitta LT3. If you run a Cummins through real winters, plow snow, or tow through mountain ice, this is the only purpose-built LT-rated winter tire engineered for heavy four-wheel drive trucks. It comes in LT load range E with 10-ply construction built for Cummins front axle weight. The sidewalls use aramid fiber, the same material in body armor. The studs are stainless steel, so they resist road salt corrosion instead of rusting out after one season. A snowplow operator running a Ram 2500 has gone through 4 sets of these and keeps buying them because nothing else matches the ice confidence at 3 in the morning during a blizzard. At $280 to $340 per tire studded, they are not cheap. But on a truck weighing over 7,000 pounds loaded, this tire is not an expense. It is the reason you make it home. One more thing before you go. If you just bought a used Ram 2500 or 3500, budget for new tires before anything else. The previous owner is probably telling the truth about the engine and the transmission. I promise you, they are not telling the truth about how much tread is left on those Transforce tires. Tires are a huge cost on these trucks, and your Ram might be burning through gas way faster than it should because of 9 factory settings that Ram turns on by default. I made a video covering all 9 of them and which ones to turn off immediately. That one will save you just as much money as the right tires. I will see you over there.